Cruel and Usual: The Psychological Financial Impact of Student Evaluation of Teaching Amongst Female Faculty and BIPOC Faculty by Dr. Mary Lourdes Silva and Dr. Susie Knoll. I first want to acknowledge the Iroquois Nation of Central New York and the importance to understand the long-standing history of ethnic cleansing and genocide that has brought us here today and our ongoing commitment to combat the effects of colonialism. In terms of accessibility, subtitles are available on YouTube. Written transcript will also be available. I will read out loud relevant headings and images on all slides. In this presentation, I'll briefly overview the literature on student evaluation of teaching, which I will refer to as SET from here on out. Do SET measure teaching effectiveness, and are female faculty and BIPOC faculty disproportionately impacted? In our IRB-approved survey distributed to numerous educator networks, 340 respondents answered questions about the psychological and financial impact of SETs. Implicit gender-race bias not only marginalizes faculty, it comes with a tangible psychological and financial cost in which disadvantaged faculty have to work more and pay more to receive equivalent SET scores based on their identity, not on the quality of their teaching skills and abilities. Validity of SET. Do SETs measure teaching effectiveness? History of SETs. Developed in the 1920s, SET was initially limited to classroom use to improve instruction. In 1953, one of the developers of SETs, Edwin Guthrie, warned against their misuse as an ultimate measure of merit. Quoted in Schroeb 2020. Today, most universities and colleges use faculty SETs to base their decisions regarding hiring, promotion, merit pay, funding opportunities, awards, etc. Strobe 2020. Dozens of studies in the last 20 years have questioned the validity of SET, particularly the assumption that higher SET is correlated to teaching effectiveness. In these 6 selected studies, researchers found that high SET scores were correlated variables such as class size, instructor likability, and grades rather than learning outcomes. In fact, in one study by Uddle and their co-authors, 2017, meta-analysis of large sample studies showed that students who were taught by highly rated professors in prerequisite courses did worse off in subsequent courses. In other words, likable instructors may receive better SET scores because of their charisma, ability to entertain and engage students, and grading leniency, but fail to effectively prepare students to excel in the curriculum. Furthermore, if faculty do not value SETs as a tool to improve teaching quality, as indicated by the Baron and Rokesh 2009 study, then who are SETs for? In the following 6 selected studies, the main finding is that students view males as more intelligent and competent than females. Because female faculty are measured with a different yardstick based on their nurturing abilities, female faculty exert more emotional, intellectual, and physical labor to receive competitive SET scores. Sprague and Massoni note that women are judged more harshly when they don't meet students' gendered expectations. In one study by Rivera and Tilsic, 2019, SET design, whether a scale of 1 to 6 or 1 to 10 was used, affected the size of the gender bias gap in SET in male-dominated fields. The findings suggest one of 2 possibilities. Either A, the gender bias in male-dominated fields is not as problematic as the literature suggests, or B, gender bias can be concealed or obscured by altering a rating scale. Of course, the second possibility is more insidious. However, it shows that objective means to capture bias can be manipulated by methodological design. Moreover, it demonstrates the limitations to quantitative research and the importance of listening to our colleagues harmed by SETs. Racial bias of SETs. In a computer-animated lecture delivered to 325 male and female students, male students rated the male professor higher and students rated the black professor higher on the SET. However, the quiz results from a comprehensive exam revealed that students performed best with the white male professor. If students perceive white male professors as more competent, they pay more closer attention to the material. In a separate study by Pittman 2010, 17 faculty of color selected and interviewed from a pool of 46 excellent teachers reported hostile classroom experiences with white males who challenged their competency, authority, and expertise. In the following study by Reed 2010, Black and Asian faculty rated more negatively in terms of overall quality, helpfulness, and clarity, but higher on easiness. Black male faculty were rated worse than other faculty. White male faculty were rated the best. In a study by Smith and Hawkins in 2011, a study of 13,702 undergraduates sets over a 3-year period at a PWI for tenure-track faculty shows that Black male faculty were rated more negatively. And last, a study by Taylor in 2021, administrators weaponized SET against BIPOC faculty, ignoring the problem of race and racism, and further marginalized BIPOC faculty. Statement of problem. Researchers note that SETs could decrease faculty morale. In one study by Buran and Rokash in 2009, a faculty reported that the SET process was humiliating and embarrassing. In a separate study of students' and professors' perceptions of websites like RateMyProfessor.com, professors were asked to review positive and negative comments of professors and adopt that professor's point of view. Kowal, Bell, and others, 2012, found that professors would feel confident about their teaching well in the future, but would have doubts about their students liking them and building rapport with students. In an earlier study about imposter syndrome and teacher confidence and self-perception, students rated lower faculty who suffered from imposter syndrome. Of course, repeatedly receiving negative sets can trigger or cause feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. In regards to the financial impact of SET, absent from the literature is a discussion regarding the financial costs of negative sets or efforts to improve SET scores. Financial loss. Graduate students without job security or the promise of tenure-track positions are the most vulnerable in higher education. According to Salary.com, the median salary for graduate students in college is $17,452. In many disciplines, particularly in the humanities, graduate students are expected to demonstrate excellence of teaching. Financial loss can take the shape of additional expenditures, lost opportunities, lower pay due to loss of promotion, or job opportunities the person never pursued. For example, on a meager salary, to improve SET, graduate students may buy donuts, candy, or snacks for their students on the days sets are administered to improve their SET scores. Over the span of 4 to 6 years, a $10 a dozen box of donuts can be costly if students are teaching large seminar classes or multiple sections. I spent $150 on video editing software to make my courses more accessible. One of my collaborators delayed joining the job market by 1 year because she feared her negative SET scores would make it impossible for her to find a tenure-track position. This career decision potentially cost her anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000, the loss of 1 year's salary. Furthermore, female graduate students or BIPOC graduate students concerned about aggregate SET scores may limit their job search, avoiding colleges or universities that place a larger emphasis on SET, which results in decreased diversity and representation in higher education. Second to graduate students, contingent faculty, both part-time and full-time, and tenure-track faculty are most vulnerable economically and have the most to lose with low SET scores. Starting October 11th of 2021, I distributed a 25-item IRB-approved Google survey to 3 national listservs. The WPA and Writing Studies listservs primarily include writing instructors, and the POD listserv includes educators in leadership roles. And in addition to the listservs, I distributed to the survey on the popular Facebook group titled Higher Ed Learning Collective with 40.8 thousand members. Instructors were encouraged to share the survey with colleagues and other professional educator networks. The anonymous IRB-approved survey asked 17 questions about personal experiences regarding student biases in SETs, and the second page of the survey there are 8 demographic questions. Results. Disappointment versus satisfaction. As a result of student evaluation of teaching, which word best described the aggregate experience of faculty? Of the 336 participants, 58.2% reported negative emotions like disappointment, hurt, anger, and shame, and 41% reported positive emotions like validation and satisfaction. As a result of student evaluation of teaching, I've experienced the following negative emotions. Check all that apply. The most popular responses were diminished self-confidence, depression, and anxiety. 10.9% responded does not apply. As a result of SET, I have sought to, check all that apply. 82% sought to improve course design curriculum. 54.4% modified their grading. 50.3% connected more with students, and 47% reduced student workload. 26.3% reached out to faculty or support services, and 3.3% selected does not apply. The results suggest that faculty dedicate additional time and labor to tasks such as improving course design, connecting more with students, and reaching out to faculty or support services. Activities like student conferences and modification of course design is a sizable time investment that is often unaccounted for by administrators. 86% experienced anxiety, depression, or shame. If relevant, how many years have you experienced anxiety, depression, or shame regarding your SET scores? 14.2% selected does not apply, which suggests that nearly 86% have experienced these emotions due to SET. Over 50% have experienced anxiety, depression, or shame for 5 years or more. 12.4% have experienced it for the entirety of their academic career for 20 years or more. Participants were asked about the students requesting extensions, exceptions, or unofficial accommodations in comparison to other colleagues due to their identity. 68.5% agreed with this statement. According to Amani El-Alaishi and her co-authors 2018, women receive more requests than their male counterparts in terms of service, student advising, and teacher-related activities. When academia was dominated by upper-class men, professors were simply trusted to do their jobs. As female faculty and BIPOC faculty entered the academy, institutional assessments like SET have been used to ensure quote-unquote rigor and that professors were doing their jobs. When asked about the personal or professional support from the college or university regarding negative SET, 60.2% agreed or strongly agreed with this statement. 19.9% were neutral and 14.5% disagreed. In sum, a majority of the respondents did not receive personal or professional support, which suggests that they had to process the psychological and/or financial impact on their own. Participants were asked for whether they intentionally tried to improve SET to increase their self-worth. 67.5% agreed or strongly agreed with this statement. 17.7% were neutral and 33.6% disagreed or strongly disagreed with this statement. When an inherently flawed and biased metric system like SET is normalized, it should be no surprise to find individuals striving to excel within the system and find improvements to self-worth, even if they already know the system is sexist and racist. The work required to improve SETs costs almost half the respondents a significant amount of additional time and labor. Respondents were also asked whether they improved their course design, teaching, and relationship with students due to SETs. 49% agreed with this statement, 29.1% were neutral, and 21.9% disagreed or strongly disagreed. This finding resonates with the first question about participants' aggregate experience with SETs. Less than half of the participants had a positive experience due to SET. However, this does not negate the additional emotional, psychological, intellectual, physical labor and financial costs required of minorities to improve teaching quality and teacher-student rapport. How have I been financially impacted? 45.5% attended professional development workshops, classes, etc. 37.5% delayed publishing opportunities. 31.3% purchased snacks, sweets, or gifts. 25% received a promotion, merit pay, or additional funds. 21.7% have not been impacted at all, does not apply, and 18.2% started expanded mental health care. 11.9% expanded childcare. 7.7% were denied promotion, and 7 instructors delayed entry to the job market because of SET. In sum, nearly half have spent money to improve their teaching. Nearly a third are spending money to improve SET through a form of bribery like snacks or sweets. Nearly 1 in 5 instructors are starting or expanding their mental health care due to SET. nearly 12% had to spend additional money on childcare, and 1 in 4 instructors are profiting from SET through promotions, merit pay, or additional funds. It is also important to note that 21.7% have not been impacted financially. Participants also provided fill-in responses. I synthesized the most common responses. Faculty were paid for online educational resources or classroom materials. They paid for these. Faculty had lost summer contracts to teach. Faculty did not complete grants to focus on improving SETs. Faculty were excluded from discretionary salary increases or pay raises. And one instructor wrote, "I'm going back to school to get out of a profession that forces me to read abusive comments about me twice a year. I will be taking 3 years out of the workforce and taking on hundreds and thousands of dollars of student debt." And last, have benefit from SET. One faculty member wrote that they received job offers and additional courses to teach. 60.7% of respondents have accrued cost to improve SETs, and 39.3% accrued no costs. Respondents were asked to agree or disagree with the statement. "Due to my rank and/or reputation, I seldom worry about the results of my SET scores." 30.2% seldom worry about SET, while 57.7% worry about their SETs. 12.1% were neutral. They were also asked to agree or disagree with this statement. "Improving my SETs is a high priority." 42% agreed it was a high priority, while 27.1% disagreed, and 30.7% were neutral. These findings suggest that a majority of respondents are impacted by SET. In addition to the psychological effects of lower SETs, the pressure on female faculty and minority faculty to overcome bias in order to score SETs on par with their male and white colleagues has substantial financial and time costs. If female faculty are also likely to be paid less, the additional financial costs represent a double economic burden of lower pay combined with higher required or perceived to be required expenditures. Increased time and efforts to improve SET come at the expense of a research agenda, other career advancing pursuits, or work-life balance. If colleges value and want to support the research, creativity, and teaching of our female faculty and minority faculty, they need to create a more equitable evaluation system that allows all faculty equal opportunities to excel. Rather than reinventing or replacing SET, a flawed bias metric system, what is already in place are peer observations, teaching portfolios, teaching statements, course management system analytics of student performance, student outcomes, and non-anonymous student learning reflections about ways to improve the course in real time. I would like to note a few limitations to the present study. First, most of the respondents were from the humanities. More representation in STEM is needed where women and BIPOC faculty have historically been discriminated against. Only 15% of the respondents were males. In STEM fields, men are better represented. Distributing the survey directly to STEM departments could have improved male participation. Only 15% of respondents identified as BIPOC. Distributing the survey to Hispanic-serving colleges, HBCUs, tribal colleges, and self-identified LGBTQT educators could have improved minority participation. And last, underrepresented in the study were community colleges that were PWI, so predominantly white institutions, online colleges, religious colleges, HBCUs, tribal colleges, and Hispanic-serving colleges. Further research is needed to explore the financial and psychological impact of BIPOC faculty. Thank you for your time. If you would like to contact me, please email me at msilva@ithaca.edu.